Hello, I already presented myself. I'm Michela Vignoli from the Austrian Institute of Technology. I will chair the first part on availability and access. Basically, we have a starting assumption, and I think that after Rufus' talk today, we're all on the same page. We're all convinced that open approaches to knowledge, production, management, and dissemination are have advantages and a huge potential that we should definitely use. And so we're not trying to convince you about open access to publications and data in this section, but we will rather address the question, how can we really put this in place and foster it on a long term? So the goal is to find a common understanding on how to boost open access policies, and also that go beyond internal debates. For instance, what is better, the green road, the gold road? So we'll try to get more broader insights on that. We will try to agree on a list of very concrete recommendations to RFOs as a result of the discussions. Our session is structured in three parts, main parts. The first one will be 3 short presentations on open access to publications. The first one will be by Eric Loris from the Belgian Federal Science Policy Office. He will briefly present the open access policy in Belgium. And I guess the rest will be then presented by you in the session. The second speaker will be Andreas Vogler from the Max Planck Digital Library. He's one of the authors of a recent paper exploring the ways to change business models in journal publishing. I guess he will speak a bit about that, and also how the Max Planck Digital Library is fostering open access. And in the end, we have a presentation by Kerstin Stieg from the Austrian Library Network. She's involved in the SCOAP 3 consortium, and she will contribute with an input based on this innovative initiative to turn scientific journals to open access. After the lunch break, we will have a session with other 3 short presentations on open access to research data. The first speaker will be Patrick Danowski from the Institute of Science and Technology. Patrick manages the IST library and is involved in the Open Access Network Austria, and he will also talk about some recent development and activities of the Open Access Network Austria. Lorenzo Bigagli from the Italian National Research Council, from the Institute of Atmospheric Pollution in Florence. He will report from 2 projects related to open data. The first one, ReCode, which is policy recommendations for open access to research data in Europe. And the second project is BYTE, or BYTE. Not sure if it's really pronounced BYTE, but anyway. This project is the Big Data Roadmap and Cross-Disciplinary Community for Addressing Societal Externalities. And finally, we will have Kerstin Konitzer from the Swedish Meteorological and Hydrological Institute. She's the director of the Environmental Climate Data Sweden, which is part of this institute. She's also involved in the Research Data Alliance, and probably will present about your expertise in that. Great. So, and in the final part, we will have an open discussion with all the panelists. And we will address questions, for instance, how should open access to publications and data be supported by various stakeholders? Or what are key requirements of open access policies? And also, how can high open access quality standards be achieved? This is just a short sneak peek. I hope that you're interested to attend this session. And now I'm happy to give over the microphone to the session 2 chair. Thank you.
No, we heard, in the morning we heard for this session 2, reuse and redistribution, the 3 main topics. What I had also in my hand, to permit modification and permit sharing and also make the content machine readable. And for this session 2, we know there's a enormous evolution of technologies for spatial data, big data, and we need an update. We need also to modernize the strategic direction for data access, data provider, and data formats, encoding rules, and their interoperability. The goal of this session, or the characteristic of this session too, in my opinion, it's more on the technical level to discuss more technical solution, how it's implemented, how we deal with this open idea, with this open knowledge. And for this, I will start with the topic 1. It's an open source aspect, open source software aspect from Eric Albers. He's coming from the Free Software Foundation Europe, situated in Berlin, and he will give us an aspect of, or technological view of an open aspect and open access research. So open knowledge need a transparency and transparent technologies. The next second topic, it's about linked data, linked open data, and this is also quite interesting and interesting. And Florian Bauer and Sigmund from the Renewable Energy Partnership, WEEP, it's an NGO. Also here in Vienna, will give us also a technical overview and I hope also deep knowledge about this linked open data and how we can realize this. And the third interesting implementation, we will have a view on this Austrian project e-infrastructure by Raman. So that's my overview, and I hope we will have a fruitful discussion about this.
So in the last session, the session 3 on universal participation, those of you who have registered for the session may have noticed the question behind the title of the session. The question was namely, what actors are involved when designing, creating, distributing and evaluating data, information and knowledge? So referring to the definition that Rufus was using on open knowledge, namely the 3 elements of open information, infrastructure and minds, I guess will be the session that will focus on the 3rd part, so open minds. We will be the non-technical session and will address more the social or soft organizational or even cultural part in open knowledge and open access and access to climate knowledge. We will discuss maybe also non-typical aspects, such as of course, the participation of maybe not the usual suspects, so to say, but also the non-academic people, lay audiences, but also how is the climate research done? For instance, the role of social sciences and humanities in climate research and related aspects. We will try to generate a more reflexive and sensible discussion than might be typical to policy discussion, so we hope at least to trigger a more reflexive discussion. And formally, our session is divided in 2 subtopics, so the science policy and science society. So we will have several presentations on this in this perspective, but we will also discuss maybe there is a more interaction and diffusion of all these areas. Regarding the presentations, we have 4 short input talks. We'll start with Irina Reyes. Irina is from the European Commission, and as she also introduced herself during her introductory round, she will present the Science 2.0 or Open Science public consultation that the Commission did last year, and the results and the next steps after this consultation. Then we will have Susanne Schuck-Zöller from the Climate Service Center Germany in Hamburg. And Susanne is coordinating the partnering network working on climate research in Germany, and she's focusing in transdisciplinary approaches in dealing with climate services. So she will present her experiences, especially with regard to working with practitioners. Then we'll have Kim van Neuvel. He's from Climate Adaptation Services in the Netherlands, and he was also working in Knowledge for Climate research program, and he will tell us more about that, Kim. And at the end, we have Stefan Fritz from IASA here in Luxembourg, next to Vienna, and he will tell us more about the citizen science project called PhotoQuest Austria. It is a mobile app for citizens to collect data on land use in Austria. And we will have a discussion, and we hope to an active interaction with the audience as well. Thank you.